Continuing our coverage now of The Voice finale with our very own Sofronio Vasquez. He's won season 26 of The Voice. NBC's Gina Kim is live in Hollywood with Utica's new favorite son.
Sofronio Vasquez was born on November 9, 1992, in Mindanao, Philippines. Growing up in a modest household, he was surrounded by the rich musical traditions of his community. His father, a local musician, introduced him to singing and playing instruments at an early age. The household was always filled with melodies, whether it was church hymns, classic OPM, original Filipino music, or soulful ballads. Despite his passion for music, financial struggles made it difficult for him to consider it as a serious career. His parents, while supportive of his talent, encouraged him to focus on academics for a stable future. Sofronio was a bright student and decided to pursue a degree in dentistry to secure a profession that could provide financial stability for his family. However, music was always his escape. Even while studying, he found himself performing at school events, local fiestas, and talent competitions. His ability to connect with audiences through music set him apart. His voice carried depth, emotion, and an old-school soul that resonated deeply with listeners. After earning his degree, Sofronio moved to Utica, New York, in search of better opportunities. He found work as a dental assistant, but his love for music never faded. He performed at community events, bars, and small concerts, gradually building a reputation within the Filipino-American community. But despite his growing local recognition, he remained hesitant to take the leap into professional music. It wasn't until a personal tragedy struck that he finally found the courage to pursue his true calling. In 2018, Sofronio Vasquez's life took a heartbreaking turn when his father suddenly passed away. His father had always been his biggest supporter, the one who encouraged him to sing even when he doubted himself. Losing him was not just an emotional devastation, it left Sofronio questioning everything in his life. For months, grief consumed him. He felt lost, torn between continuing his safe, stable career in dentistry and honoring his father's memory by chasing his musical dreams. Eventually, his father's words echoed in his mind. "Sing, my son. The world needs to hear your voice." Determined to make his father proud, Sofronio made a life-changing decision. He quit his job as a dental assistant and took on singing gigs on cruise ships, allowing him to travel across the world while performing for live audiences. Singing in front of diverse crowds strengthened his confidence. He learned how to captivate an audience, how to infuse raw emotion into his performances, and most importantly, how to own the stage. By 2022, he had returned to Utica, New York, but something still felt missing. He wanted more. He wanted to prove to himself, and to the world, that he could be more than just a cruise ship singer. One night, while scrolling online, he saw an announcement for The Voice Season 26 auditions. That was it. That was the moment he knew it was time to take a leap of faith. With a heart full of ambition and his father's memory pushing him forward, he submitted his audition video, unaware that it would soon change his life forever. Sofronio Vasquez's audition for The Voice Season 26 was nothing short of spectacular. The moment he stepped onto the stage, the audience could sense his confidence. Unlike many nervous contestants, Sofronio carried himself with a quiet determination. For his audition, he chose Mary J. Blige's "I'm Going Down." It was a bold choice, soulful, emotionally charged, and technically challenging. But Sofronio didn't just sing the song, he lived it. His voice carried raw emotion, rich depth, and impeccable control. The entire room fell silent as his first notes echoed through the studio. Within 10 seconds, Michael Bublé and John Legend hit their buzzers. A few more seconds passed, and Gwen Stefani and Reba McEntire turned as well. He had achieved the coveted four-chair turn, a sign that all the coaches recognized his undeniable talent. Michael Bublé was the first to speak, calling Sofronio's voice timeless and electrifying. John Legend praised his vocal precision and powerful delivery. Gwen Stefani emphasized his unique stage presence, while Reba McEntire admired the soulful storytelling in his performance. Sofronio had a tough decision to make. All four coaches were eager to have him on their team. After a heartfelt discussion, he chose Team Bublé. He believed Michael Bublé's experience with jazz, pop, and soul would be the best fit for his musical journey. After the episode aired, Sofronio's audition went viral. Within 24 hours, his performance had racked up millions of views on YouTube and TikTok. Fans flooded social media, praising his talent and predicting that he could go all the way to the finals. His journey had just begun. With a 4-chair turn under his belt, Sofronio Vasquez had already cemented himself as a top contender. But he knew that The Voice was not just about talent, it was about consistency, versatility, and the ability to connect with audiences week after week. For the battle rounds, he was paired with another strong vocalist on Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. The duet was mesmerizing. His ability to balance power and subtlety while delivering deeply felt lyrics won over both the audience and the judges. Michael Bublé chose Sofronio as the winner of the battle, advancing him to the knockout rounds. His knockout round performance was where he truly made his mark. Choosing Stevie Wonder's Lately, he delivered a soul-stirring rendition that left the judges speechless. Gwen Stefani was visibly emotional, and even the notoriously critical John Legend gave him a standing ovation. Each week, he continued to impress. His performances of Unchained Melody and Bridge Over Troubled Water showcased his ability to take classic songs and make them his own. Fans began comparing him to legendary vocalists like Sam Cooke, Donny Hathaway, and Luther Vandross. By the time The Voice reached the semi-finals, Sofronio was not just a contestant, he was a fan favorite. His performances were consistently among the most watched on YouTube, and his growing fan base began campaigning for him on social media. His ability to adapt to different genres while staying true to his soulful roots made him one of the most versatile contestants the show had ever seen. The final rounds of The Voice were an emotional roller coaster. Sofronio was up against some of the most talented singers in the competition, including a powerhouse country vocalist and a pop sensation with a massive social media following. For his final solo performance, he selected I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. The choice shocked many, it was one of the most difficult songs in music history. But Sofronio delivered a flawless, heartfelt rendition, hitting the high notes effortlessly while keeping the emotion raw and authentic. The performance broke records. It became the most watched video from The Voice Season 26, crossing 10 million views within 72 hours. Judges called it one of the greatest performances in Voice history. Despite his breathtaking performances, Sofronio finished as the runner-up, losing to a country singer whose fan base had been dominant in previous seasons. While some fans were disappointed, Sofronio handled the result with grace, thanking his supporters and emphasizing that his journey was far from over. Winning The Voice was never his ultimate goal, building a lasting career in music was. Although he didn't win the title, Sofronio walked away with much more than a trophy. His final performances topped iTunes charts, with millions of downloads and streams. Record labels and music producers reached out, offering him multiple deals. He gained over 2 million new followers across social media platforms, creating an instant fan base. Major music festivals invited him to perform, giving him a platform beyond the show. But perhaps the most valuable thing he won was credibility. The industry took notice of his talent, and singers like John Legend and Michael Bublé openly expressed interest in working with him. Instead of rushing into a deal, Sofronio took his time, carefully selecting the right team to guide his career. After months of speculation, Sofronio Vasquez officially signed a record deal with Universal Music Group. His debut single, Unbreakable, was released in early 2024, and it quickly climbed the Billboard Hot 100 charts. His blend of soul, R&B, and pop resonated with listeners, proving that his success on The Voice was just the beginning. Following the success of his single, he announced a nationwide tour, selling out shows in major cities like Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago. By mid-2024, he was working on his debut album, featuring collaborations with Alicia Keys, John Legend, and Bruno Mars. His music carried the same emotional depth that made him famous, but with a fresh, modern sound. Sofronio Vasquez was no longer a contestant on a singing show, he was a rising star in the music industry. Sofronio's career is still unfolding, but one thing is clear, he is here to stay. With a successful tour, a growing fan base, and an album in the works, he is well on his way to becoming one of the defining voices of his generation. Beyond music, Sofronio has expressed interest in mentorship and philanthropy, aiming to help other aspiring artists, especially those from underprivileged backgrounds. He also hopes to establish a scholarship fund for Filipino musicians, honoring his roots. His journey has been one of resilience, talent, and unwavering determination. From a small-town boy in the Philippines to a global music sensation, Sofronio Vasquez has proven that dreams, when pursued with passion and perseverance, can become reality. His story is just beginning, and the world is eagerly watching what he does next.